Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Didve Nashtapraheshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavate Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtakiri. So, continuing with our discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, devotional service, text number 6, 7 onwards. Ye tu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matvaraha ananyena yogena mam dhyayantu pasate tesham samuddharta mrityu sansara sagara bhavami na chirata partha maya veshit chetasam. So Krishna is telling Arjun. Arjun asked, the question was, which is better to worship the personal form of the Lord or to meditate on the impersonal feature? So in the previous verse, fifth verse, Krishna says that for those who are embodied, it's very difficult to make progress. Uh, it's very difficult to make progress if the mind is attached to impersonal feature. So now he says, but those who worship me, means worship me in my personal feature, giving up all their activities unto me and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service, and always meditating upon me. So meditate upon me, not on some impersonal light or energy or some other form. Having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Pritha, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. So that's a difference. In the impersonal meditation, the advancement is very troublesome, very difficult. And here it's very easy because Krishna says, those who are thinking of me, those who are devoted to me, they are giving up all their activities unto me. Without deviation, they are devoted to me, engaged in devotional service. For them, I am the swift deliverer. Mrityu sansara sagarat. Um, the word Krishna used was Tesham aham samudharta. Very swiftly, very fast, I take them away from the ocean of birth and death. So this is the difference between personal service and meditation on impersonal feature. It is explicitly stated here that the devotees are very fortunate to be delivered very soon from material existence by the Lord. In pure devotional service, one comes to the realization that God is great and that the individual soul is subordinate to Him. His duty is to render service to the Lord, and if he does not, then he will render service to Maya. So we are like Bhagavatam also we are reading and Bhagavad Gita previously we read. So Jiva are Tatastha Shakti, marginal potency. We either we come under the material energy, external energy, or the spiritual or internal energy. So we have to render service, that's for sure, either to Maya or to Krishna. So our duty is to render service to the Lord. And if we don't, just like Prabhupada said, if we don't serve God, we have to serve dog. So DOG dog and GOD God. Now it's up to us where we want to put our time and energy in. As stated before, the Supreme Lord can be appreciated only by devotional service. Therefore, one should be fully devoted. One should fix his mind fully on Krishna in order to achieve him. One should work only for Krishna. It does not matter in what kind of work one engages, but that work should be done only for Krishna. That is a standard of devotional service. The devotee does not desire any achievement other than pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His life's mission is to please Krishna, and he can sacrifice everything for Krishna's satisfaction, just as Arjun did in the battle of Kurukshetra. The process is very simple. One can devote himself in his occupation and engage at the same time in chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Such transcendental chanting attracts a devotee to the personality of Godhead. So here, obviously, Prabhupada is giving the topmost ideal situation. One should be fully devoted. One should fix his mind fully on Krishna in order to achieve him. One should work only for Krishna. It does not matter in what kind of work one engages, but that work should be done only for Krishna. And then in the end, he says, the process, one can devote himself in his occupation and engage at the same time in chant. So idea is to revolve our life in such a way that everything is revolved around Krishna, to arrange our life in such a way that everything is revolved around Krishna. And if nothing else, we can be doing our activities, but in the mind, we could be chanting. So that is we are engaging our mind in service of Krishna. So we have to practice it. Idea is to practice it. So whenever we get time, not necessarily we have to chant on our beads. Beads we can chant 16 rounds and that's okay. But rest of the time, whenever we get time, whenever we become conscious of that I have time, I have free time, and mind, obviously if mind is not given any service, it will go here and there. So give this service, so just chant. We can do our activities, but we can still chant along with it. So idea is to train our mind slowly. Then we'll not do anything except chanting. Thinking of Krishna, remembering Krishna, Krishna's holy name. The Supreme Lord herein promises that without delay, he will deliver a pure devotee, thus engaged from the ocean of material existence. Those who are advanced in yoga practice can willfully transfer the soul to whatever planet they like by the yoga process. And others take the opportunity in various ways. But as far as devotees is concerned, it's clearly stated here that the Lord himself takes him. The devotee does not need to wait to become very experienced in order to transfer himself to the spiritual sky. So here Krishna is giving the assurance that I will take you very soon, very swift deliverer from the material ocean of birth and death. Lord will come and take the devotee away. That's it. In the Varaha Puran, this verse appears. The purport of this verse is that a devotee does not need to practice Ashtanga Yoga in order to transfer his soul to the spiritual planets. The responsibility is taken by the Supreme Lord himself. He clearly states here that he himself becomes the deliverer. A child is completely cared for by his parents, and thus his position is secure. Similarly, a devotee does not need to endeavor to transfer himself by yoga practice to other planets. Rather, the Supreme Lord, by his great mercy, comes at once riding on his bird carrier Garuda and at once delivers the devotee from material existence. That's a beauty, that's a power, that's a sublime characteristics of devotion service. We just do our bhakti and Krishna himself will come and take us away, take us back to Godhead. Although a man who has fallen in the ocean may struggle very hard and may be very expert in swimming, he cannot save himself. But if someone comes and picks him up from the water, then he is easily rescued. Similarly, the Lord picks up the devotee from this material existence. One simply has to practice the easy process of Krishna consciousness and fully engage himself in devotional service. Any intelligent man should always prefer the process of devotion service to all other paths. In the Naraniya, this is confirmed as follows. The purport of this verse is that one should not engage in the different processes of fruitive activity or cultivate knowledge by the mental speculative process. One who is devoted to the Supreme Personality can attain all the benefits derived from other yogic processes, speculation, rituals, sacrifices, charities, etc. That is a specific benediction of devotion service. So bhakti bhakti includes everything, all of the processes, and much more. That's how powerful bhakti is. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. A devotee of the Lord can approach the supreme destination easily and happily. But this destination cannot be approached by any other process of religion. So any other process of religion, one cannot, by following that, one cannot approach the supreme destination, which is Golok Vrindavan, and that too by achieving love of Krishna, being transferred to Golok Vrindavan. So this chanting is the only way, or bhakti is the only way. The conclusion of Bhagavad Gita is stated in the 18th chapter. Sarva dharman parityaja mam ekam sharnam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami ma shucha. One should give up all other processes of self-realization and simply execute devotion service in Krishna consciousness. That will enable one to reach the highest perfection of life. So that's what we have to do. There is no need for one to consider the sinful actions of his past life because the Supreme Lord fully takes charge of him. Therefore, one should not futilely try to deliver himself in spiritual realization. Let everyone take shelter of the supreme omnipotent Godhead, Krishna. That is the highest perfection of life. And Prabhupada, what Prabhupada is saying. No need to consider the sinful actions of his past life. Past life means even in this life, before we took up Krishna consciousness. Don't worry about the sinful actions we did. That we'll get the reactions of this and that. Yeah, let the reactions come. Krishna will be there to take care. Or Krishna will be there to protect us. So idea is we have to become Krishna conscious, not anartha conscious or not the sinful activities conscious. So by becoming Krishna conscious, by engaging more and more in devotion service, one slowly, he even gives up the propensity to even commit any sin. So the reason Krishna has made such arrangement of cause and effect or action and reaction is to deter a person from committing further sins. So if somebody commits sin, just like a jail, if somebody does something wrong, he goes to jail. So the jail is supposed to be a place for correction. It should be a correction facility. And so by the time he comes out of the jail, he should just touch his ear that I'm not going to commit any sin again. So the action and reaction, the whole karma philosophy is to make a person restrain from committing sinful activity again. But bhakti, what it does, it naturally takes away even the inclination to do any sinful activity. That's how powerful bhakti is. Why? Because one gets so much attached to Krishna, and one comes out of this, the three modes of material nature. He is situated even in higher than the mode of goodness, it is Shuddha Sattva. He gets situated in that. So in that mode, he's not going to commit any sinful activity. He won't. So this is the power of bhakti. So now text 8 through 12, they're very important texts. Krishna gives Krishna gives lots of leeway. Krishna gives lots. He makes life very flexible. See, he knows everybody will not come to the platform of bhakti. Everybody will not right away. So he has given them different um, ways of making progress. So let's see. Text 8. मय्येव मन आधत्स्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय निवसिष्यसि मय्येव at urdhvam na sanshayah. Just fix your mind upon me. So this is the topmost activity to do. Fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt. So living in Him or living in Krishna means living in Krishna consciousness, means we would be in the spiritual world, in Golok Vrindavan actually. So Krishna gives very easily, just fix your mind upon me. It's so easy, right? Just fix. It's just going here, there, everywhere, all over the universe, the mind travels. All we have to do, fix our mind on Krishna. One who is engaged in Lord Krishna's devotion service lives in a direct relationship with the Lord. So there is no doubt that his position is transcendental from the very beginning. A devotee does not live on the material plane. He lives in Krishna. The holy name of the Lord and the Lord are non-different. Therefore, when a devotee chants Hare Krishna, Krishna and his internal potency are dancing on the tongue of the devotee. When he offers Krishna food, Krishna directly accepts these eatables and the devotee becomes Krishnaized by eating the remnants. One who does not engage in such service cannot understand how this is so, although this is a process recommended in the Bhagavad Gita and another Vedic literatures. So, by fixing one's mind in Krishna means by one who is engaged in Lord Krishna's devotional service. That is the whole idea. Engage ourselves. And engage ourselves means, first of all, fix our mind in service of Krishna. Holy name of Krishna, Prabhupada saying, holy name of Krishna is non-different from the Lord. And therefore, when a devotee is chanting Krishna and his internal potency, means Srimati Radharani, are dancing on the tongue of the devotee. So there are ways, there are so many ways that Prabhupada has given us. So we can constantly be engaged in thinking, remembering of Krishna, serving Krishna. Now, somebody might say, oh, probably that's not possible for me to do. How can I always think of Krishna? In fact, the best example of always thinking about Krishna is gopis of Vrindavan. In fact, when Uddhavji goes and tells the gopis, Krishna had sent Uddhavji as his messenger, and tell the gopis that they should meditate on the impersonal feature. They should do some yoga and meditate on the Brahman feature. And the gopis, they got so angry with Uddhavji. What nonsense you're talking here. The gopis are saying, we, even for a second, even if we want, Krishna does not come out of our minds. We always keep on thinking about Krishna. Thinking of Krishna, thinking about Krishna, and the places wherever we go, it just reminds us of Krishna. Whether it is in our house, if we are taking care of cows, whether we are gone to the forest, whether we gone on Govardhan Hill, whether we are gone to the banks of Yamuna, every single place reminds, not just reminds us of Krishna, reminds, and this thinking process, it just increases to such an extent we cannot live without him. So that's gopis. Here we have to somehow force our mind to think of Krishna. And the gopis had to force their mind to not think of Krishna. Because this is when we keep on thinking about Krishna, we cannot do rest of our activities. So Krishna, go away from our minds. Huge difference between a conditioned living entity and spiritualized people, or gopis, especially gopis, because their relationship, their um, mood for Krishna is considered the topmost. Of course, among all the gopis, Srimati Radharani is considered the best, but all gopis, this is their situation. They cannot think of anyone except Krishna. They cannot think of anything but Krishna. And not just one day, 1 hour, or they get up in Brahmurat time and chant the 16 rounds, and after that they say, oh, now I'm done, I can do whatever I want. That was it. This is their life. They always think about Krishna. That's it. Whole day, every day. Together with other gopis, separately from other gopis, no matter how. They always think. And here where Krishna is telling us to think of him, because we don't have that kind of attachment for Krishna. We don't have that kind of relationship with Krishna. Just like even in the mundane world, material world, if we have a relationship with suppose somebody's girlfriend or boyfriend or a children's son or daughter or husband or brother, even if we don't want, the mind naturally goes towards their thoughts. That is so natural for a person who's in a body. But more than that, what is really natural is because we have an eternal relationship with Krishna that somehow or other we have forgotten. So that relationship is eternal with Krishna. So how natural would it be for us to always think of Krishna? It would be very natural. But the problem is, since we are living an artificial life and living the life of this body, which we are not, so our thought process, our consciousness, our behavior, or everything is according to this body. And that's when we have forgotten about Krishna. So the system that Srila Prabhupada has developed is basically to give us an opportunity, give us an impetus to think of Krishna, to always think favorably of Krishna. Okay, then Krishna says, if somebody cannot think of me, then what to do? Atha chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi mai sthiram abhyas yogen tato mam ichhaptum dhananjaya. My dear Arjun, or winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain. So by following the principles of Bhakti Yoga that Srila Prabhupada has given us, then slowly, we can or we will develop a desire to attain Krishna. Because by that time we will be so much absorbed, so much purification must have happened, advancement will be there. Then we desire, I don't want anything in the material world, I only want Krishna. At least a desire will be there. We are not eligible to live always in Him, or we are not eligible to go back to spiritual world. At least burning desire will be there. In this verse, two different processes of bhakti yoga are indicated. The first applies to one who has actually developed an attachment for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by transcendental love. And the other is for one who has not developed an attachment for the Supreme Person by transcendental love. For this second class, there are different prescribed rules and regulations one can follow to be ultimately elevated to the stage of attachment to Krishna. So there are different rules and regulations which we can follow to make advancement. Bhakti yoga is a purification of the senses. At the present moment in material existence, the senses are always impure, being engaged in sense gratification. But by the practice of bhakti yoga, these senses can become purified. And in the purified state, they come directly in contact with the Supreme Lord. In this material existence, one may be engaged in some service to some master, but I don't really. In this material existence, I may be engaged in some service to some master, but I don't really lovingly serve my master. I simply serve to get some money. And the master also is not in love. He takes service from me and pays me. So there is no question of love. But for spiritual life, one must be elevated to this pure stage of love. That stage of love can be achieved by practice of devotional service performed with the present senses. So this is a sadhan bhakti, but Rupa Goswami explains in Nectar of Devotion. So follow the rules and regulations, regulative principles of devotional service. So Prabhupada is comparing that to the work that we do, the jobs we have. It's not we are in love with our managers or the bosses, and that's why we go to work. Actually we hate them. Most of us do, especially at the time of yearly review. But here, when somebody is in devotional service, that's a different platform. There's only question of love, nothing else. This love of God is now in a dormant state in everyone's heart, and their love of God is manifested in different ways, but it is contaminated by material association. Now the heart has to be purified of the material association, and that dormant natural love for Krishna has to be revived. That's the whole process. So like we explained, whole process of bhakti yoga is just cleanse our heart of our material desires, material associations, purify it, have the desire to be attached to Krishna, to be serving Krishna. So that's the right desire, and that means that slowly the purification of heart, or Cheto Darpana Marjan, will happen. To practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, one should, under the guidance of an expert spiritual master, follow certain principles. One should rise early in the morning, even if it is cold in Delhi. Take bath, okay, that's not practical, but still one can do if one wants to. Enter the temple and offer prayers and chant Hare Krishna. That everybody can do. Then collect flowers to offer to the deity. Cook foodstuffs to offer to the deity. Take prasadam and so on. There are various rules and regulations which one should follow, and one should constantly hear Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam from pure devotees. This practice can help anyone rise to the level of love of God, and then he is sure of his progress into the spiritual kingdom of God. This practice of Bhakti Yoga, under the rules and regulations, with the direction of a spiritual master, will surely bring one to the stage of love of God. So that is a stage we have to achieve, and there are so many rules and regulations. The idea is to control our mind from going here and there, control our senses from going here and there, and engage them in service of Krishna. But now Krishna further says, even if somebody cannot do that, then what? Text 10. Abhyase api asamartho si mat karma paramo bhava madartham api karmani kurvan siddhim abhapsyasi. If you cannot practice the regulations of bhakti yoga, even if you think it's too much, who's going to get up early in the morning, who's going to chant, and that 16 rounds, and same words again and again, it makes me sleepy. And what about reading? I don't like to read scriptures. I cannot understand them. So somebody can say, I don't have any enchantment for that. Then Krishna says, just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. So first is fix your mind on me. Second, he says, follow the rules and regulations of Bhakti Yoga. Cannot do that? Okay, just work for me. That's it. One who is not able even to practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga under the guidance of a spiritual master can still be drawn to this perfection stage by working for the Supreme Lord. Even if somebody takes money for the work, for like a salary, still work for the Supreme Lord. Krishna is recommending that. How to do this work has already been explained in the 55th verse of the 11th chapter. One should be sympathetic to the propagation of Krishna consciousness. The many devotees were engaged in the propaganda of Krishna consciousness, and they require help. So even if one cannot directly practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, he can try to help such work. Every endeavor requires land, capital, organization, and labor. Just as in business, one requires a place to stay, some capital to use, some labor, and some organization to expand. So the same is required in the service of Krishna. The only difference is that in materialism, one works for sense gratification. The same work, however, can be performed for the satisfaction of Krishna. And that is spiritual activity. So same work, what does it mean? Means like suppose somebody likes to play on computers or do computer programming. So one can easily do it for Krishna also, engage in his service. Like we do construction, we can construct big homes or we can construct a big temple of Krishna. So this is what Krishna says. If you cannot even follow the rules and regulations, just work for me. So this voluntary service to the cause of Krishna consciousness will help one to rise to a higher state of love for God, whereupon one becomes perfect. Then he says, even if you cannot do that, then what? Athetad api ashakto asi kartum mad yogam ashvitaha sarv karma phalatyagam tatha kuru yatatmavam. If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act, giving up all results of your work and try to be self-situated. So try to give up all results of your work. Means, even if you cannot give all results, one can give some results. Means some donation can be given. It may be that one is unable even to sympathize with the activities of Krishna consciousness because of social, familial, or religious considerations, or because of some other impediments. If one attaches himself directly to the activities of Krishna consciousness, there may be objections from family members or so many other difficulties. For one who has such a problem, it is advised that he sacrifice the accumulated result of his activities to some good cause. Such procedures are described in the Vedic rules. There are many descriptions of sacrifices and special functions for the full moon day, and there is special work in which the result of one's previous results of one One's previous action may be applied. Thus, one may gradually become elevated to the stage of knowledge. So, Prabhupada is saying, our Krishna said, if you cannot work for me, then try to give up some results of your work. Because by the practice of giving up the fruits of one's activities, one is sure to purify his mind gradually. And in that purified stage of mind, one becomes able to understand Krishna consciousness. Of course, Krishna consciousness is not dependent on any other experience, because Krishna consciousness itself can purify one's mind. But if there are impediments to accepting Krishna consciousness, one may try to give up the results of his actions. See, that's the beauty of bhakti, or beauty of Sanatan Dharma or Vedic literature. It doesn't just say, okay, this way and that's it. You don't have any other option. Everybody is different. Everybody is at a different platform of bhakti, different platform of advancement. So everybody needs to be accommodated by Krishna. It's not like there's only one path and this is it and this is how you're going to do it and that's it. There's no other options of it. That's not correct. Because then where there is force, there is no love. Where there is love, there is no force. So, and then now Krishna says, even if you cannot give up the fruits of your activities, Shreya hui jnanam abhyasa jnana dhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phala tyagas tyaga chantir anantaram. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of actions. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. So if one cannot give fruits of one's actions to Krishna, then one should meditate. And if you cannot meditate, one should at least try to attain some knowledge. So we can, this meditation actually here, and the meditation, the first verse, where he says, fix your mind upon me, is different. This meditation is that dhyana yoga, what one can perform. As mentioned in the previous verses, there are two kinds of devotion service, the way of regulative principles and the way of full attachment and love to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For those who are actually not able to follow the principles of Krishna consciousness, it's better to cultivate knowledge. Because by knowledge, one can be able to understand his real position. So at least try to develop some knowledge. So by knowledge, things become clear. That's all it is. Gradually, knowledge will develop to the point of meditation. By meditation, one can be able to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by a gradual process. So slowly, it will become meditation, and then slowly one makes further progress. In the cultivation of knowledge, there are processes which make one understand that one himself is the supreme, and that sort of meditation is preferred if one is unable to engage in devotional service. If one is not able to meditate in such a way, then there are prescribed duties as enjoined in the Vedic literature. So that prescribed duties are varnashram system. Prescribed duties for Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. So if one cannot directly think of Krishna or work for him or do anything, then at least Prabhupada is writing that one should follow varnashram system. At least do some activities in conjunction with the devotional service. And Prabhupada later on says, Um, okay, there's only one paragraph left. I'll read it and then we'll discuss. In summary, to reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the highest goal, there are two processes. One process is by gradual development, and the other process is direct. Devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the direct method, and the other method involves renouncing the fruits of one's activities. Then one can come to the stage of knowledge, then to the stage of meditation, then to the stage of understanding the Super Soul, and then to the stage of the Supreme Personality of God. So see, one process is direct devotion service. The way Prabhupada made it up, set it up, just follow that. Prabhupada has done a wonderful job by giving us activities for throughout the day. And these are not just for people who live in the temple, these are for everybody and anybody. Even if we're living in a house or doing our jobs or something, we can still perform devotional service and make further advancement. The direct process is not possible for everyone. So Krishna also knows that, and Prabhupada also knows that. So slowly, idea is to make somebody progress. Therefore, the indirect process is also good. It's, however, to be understood that the indirect process is not recommended for Arjuna because he is already at the stage of loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord. It's for others who are not at this stage. For them, the gradual process of renunciation, knowledge, meditation, and realization of the Super Soul and Brahman should be followed. But as far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, it's a direct method that is stressed. Everyone is advised to take to the direct method and surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And one more point, I had read it earlier, I cannot find it. Maybe I skipped it somewhere. It was mentioned doing pious activities. Like Prabhupada mentioned, even if you cannot do anything of this, anything related to Krishna, not even knowledge, not even meditation, then do some pious. Oh, here it is. When Prabhupada was saying, when Krishna talks about giving up the fruits of one's activities, if one, Prabhupada saying, if one has sufficient money, he can help in building an office or temple for propagating Krishna consciousness, or he can help with the publications. There are various fields of activities, and one should be interested in such activities. If one cannot sacrifice the results, well, this is for bhakti. Prabhupada at one place, I remember, he wrote that if you cannot do anything of like that, then do some pious activity, do some charity, social cause. One should do, at least do something. Then there are chances that one make progress. Of course, slowly. It's a very slow process. So idea is one should do something and make progress, at least because we are in human form of life. So we have to. Yeah, here Prabhupada writing in 11th verse. It's also found that when one is not even interested in the activities of Krishna consciousness, gives charity to some hospital or some other social institution, he gives up the hard-earned results of his activities. That's also recommended here because by the practice of giving up the fruits of one's activities, one is sure to purify his mind gradually. So at least, well, let's do pious activity. But Srila Prabhupada has given such a perfect method for us to follow that if we just follow that, we won't get deviated, and we'll definitely make progress by mercy of Prabhupada. So anyway, I'll stop here because from next verse the new theme will start. So see anybody has any questions or comments.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, question from chapter 4, Shlok
Mhm.
39. So, Krishna says Arjuna
Okay.
that this sansar, this is just it's just finishing day by day. It's not constant. And and he talks about tattva gyan. So if somebody has the tattva gyan and close to the Lord, then he will detach from this world. So can you little bit elaborate on tattva gyan?
Well, there are many tattvas. Tattva means truth, the real knowledge. That's called tattva. Or that also means category. So knowing somebody truthfully, that particular category, that's not tattva gyan. Just like Krishna or Krishna's expansions, they all come under Vishnu tattva. So that's a Vishnu category. To know them fully is tattva gyan of Vishnu tattva. And we come under Jeev tattva. We are the living entities. Then there's so many other tattvas, like Shivji has his own tattva, Shiv tattva. And then there is Srimati Radharani. She doesn't come in any of these three. So she has her tattva, Radha tattva. Then gopis have their own. So similarly, they're like Bhakti tattva is there. Bhakti does not come under in any other category. So there's so many tattvas. But the real understanding of Jeev tattva, understanding my position with respect to vis-a-vis Krishna and all other different categories, and engaging myself in devotional service of Krishna, because I know that I am part and parcel of Krishna. Of course, everything belongs to Krishna. This all his energy, all his nature, but I am part and parcel of Krishna, and this is my eternal position, or this is my constitutional position to serve him. So this is Tattva Gyan, and by doing that, we definitely get disentangled from material activities. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Any other question or comment?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam.
Dana Pranam.
Prabhuji, just now we read about doing charity and sacrifices and all. So, and in fact, these days we get to read lots about corporates coming into CSR and doing all those stuff, engaging their employees and all. So, is this an indication that then that the world is progressing in the right direction, because gradually, not sure how soon, but everybody will come to spiritual platforms then, because more or less everybody, it has become a fad with people. Some people take it as fashion, some do it with faith, with passion. So different people have different agenda, but end of the day everybody is engaged in some sort of kind of doing social service, etc.
Well, it's not that everybody is engaged that way. It's only a handful of people. But those who are, they will definitely make progress. That's what it is.
So good days are inevitable then, probably.
Yeah, well, Mahaprabhu's mercy and Prabhupada's mercy, because Mahaprabhu has made this golden age, and Srila Prabhupada has developed ISKCON, and which is throughout the world. It's doing so many activities. So yes, but at the same time, there are other people also who have different ideas, so they create problems.
And we are fortunate to have yours and Radha Prabhu's association. Thank you so
Hare
much,
Rama.
Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Any other
Prabhuji, I think,
question?
yeah, Prabhuji, I think it's because of Krishna's mercy we have got you and Radha Prabhuji.
No, it's
And we
mercy
are
of Radha
listening
Prabhu.
every day. Yeah.
Very true.
Chalo, I guess we can stop here then. You all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai
Thank
Shri
you. Thank you,
Prabhupada.
Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Jai Srila
Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much, Prabhuji.